What's up, YouTube? It's Gmo here, and today, people, we are going to do something a little bit different. We are going to upload a second video today. I find this video to be fairly important as membership comes out in 6 days. We have less than a week for membership to come out. So what we're going to do is we are going to discuss some of the things that would be recommended to have prepared or completed before membership comes out. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight into the video and the recommendations. So for my very first recommendation, I am going to recommend that everyone gets at least 30 fishing and cooking for the Shiloh Village spot. For fishing, you can fish salmon and trout there and have a bank a lot closer than the Edgeville bank. I would even go a step further and recommend 40 fishing and cooking because you can fish and cook in Catherby. There should be a range right next to a bank, and it is significantly closer than the lobster spot in Karamja to a bank. So you'd get a lot better XP per hour in both fishing and cooking there, as well as having a bank close, which just makes it a lot more convenient. And there is also a fishing store there. So you will be able to save a lot of time, and you're essentially just wasting your time if you were currently fishing lobsters at Karamja. So get at least 30 to 40 and head to Catherby. For my next recommendation, I am going to recommend that you get yourself a chunk of essence. However much you get is up to you, but I would recommend minimum a couple hundred. Reason for that is if you have 44 or 54 rune crafting, you can make a ton of money by crafting your own law runes and nature runes. And if you don't, you can run it for other people. And you can also make a ton of money from running the essence and selling the runes. I would recommend buying it now if you're going to buy it and not waiting, because I would guess there's a very good chance the essence is going to increase in price as soon as membership drop, because a lot of people are going to want to run nature runes and law runes. They're currently pretty expensive. The price on them will likely dip a little bit, but it is going to be very valuable to be able to run these runes and make yourself quite a bit of gold. Next, I would also highly recommend having a good stockpile of runes and arrows, as well as 13 magic and 40 ranged, if not higher than that. Reason for that, fire giants are going to be an insane moneymaker, and even if you don't make money off of them while casting spells, you should be pretty close to break even with the rune scimitar drops, and I believe they drop a lot of mithril as well. A lot of people are going to want the rune scimitar. A lot of people are going to be bringing them into the game, so I would expect their price to drop down to 20 to 25k. However, they should hold their value extremely well. You can also use your runes to get to level 55 magic. Once you get to level 55 magic, you can cast High Alchemy, and you'll be able to sustain at the fire giants even longer by alching a lot of your loot, burying your own bones, your own big bones, and just staying there as long as possible. I personally am going to have about 12,000 casts of Fire Strike before membership drops, so that way I can camp there and get close to 55 magic. That's an approximation of how many casts you will need to get to level 55 magic, but it will be very beneficial to have 55 magic, or at least access to fire strikes, as well as having access to alks. I would recommend ranged if your range level is high, like higher than 40. I would estimate, though, that you will probably lose your arrows to other people picking them up if you're safe spotting the fire giants, because they will appear on the floor to them before you kill them, unless you want to run out and get whacked by a fire giant. So I would highly recommend going the mage route, especially with needing teleport to Camelot to get to the other side of the map, as well as teleport to Artie. Woodcutting is going to be very important whenever membership drops, because we will have fletching. This right here is all of the supplies I need to get to level 50 fletching, which is a pretty high level. But at level 50, you unlock the ability to fletch maple logs into bows. I would also recommend having 45 woodcutting so you can cut your own maple logs if you do plan to go that route. Once you hit willow logs, however, as long as you're making your own supplies, you can alch your longbows and make a profit. If you're going full sustain, you can alch everything in the process. But level 55 magic will be incredibly important for this as well, because if you're wanting to make easy money and you have the logs prepared, all you're going to need to do is get yourself some nature runes, get yourself some bowstring, and get to fletching, and you'll be able to climb up the magic levels, climb up the fletching levels, and the woodcutting levels very quickly, as well as alching everything for a profit and stacking up your cash. The last thing I would like to recommend to everybody is to complete all of your free-to-play quests. Some of these quests are prerequisites to some of the members quests, and you can get a pretty big XP bonus just from completing a few of these, such as Dragon Slayer and Vampire Slayer. They give you attack, strength, and defense XP, strength and defense being from Dragon Slayer and attack being from Vampire Slayer. There's also a handy list, and I want to give credit to Mushi for this, of all of the skill requirements for every single quest. Now, some of these I wouldn't recommend going all the way through for, such as magic. You can train that, like I said, at Fire Giants and break even, potentially even make money from there, maybe even get your own rune scimitar. But some of these are pretty low and relatively not hard requirements. 30 fire making, you can knock that out pretty quick. 20 attack for Holy Grail, which is a huge XP boost. That is very low, and unless you're a skiller, that is not a very high requirement. 10 fletching, if you have the supplies, it's only going to take you a little bit of time to get to 10 fletching. 36 woodcutting, if you were going to go for 30 fire making, it won't take you very long to get to 36 woodcutting as well, especially once you unlock willow logs. And if you're preparing your own logs for fletching, you will likely already have 36 woodcutting. I will say, however, I wouldn't recommend going for some of these. If you're going to fish at Shiloh Village or Barbarian Village, fishing might not take long as well as cooking. However, 40 crafting might take a little bit unless you're willing to dump a bunch of gold. So I would recommend just working on some of these as you go. 50 mining is a pretty steep requirement as well, especially in this version of the game. So I wouldn't use this as a perfect outline of what you need to do in terms of skill levels to complete your quest. Just work towards them as you go. Some of these requirements will be made easier with members content coming out, especially the prayer one. People will be a little bit more spread out, and if you're killing fire giants until 55 magic, you might just get to 31 prayer. So some of these I wouldn't recommend just gunning for in free-to-play straight out the gate, but some of them, the requirement shouldn't be too bad to get to in a timely manner. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here, though. If you like the video, let's smash the hell out of that like button. I've been seeing a lot of likes on my videos recently, and it makes me very happy to see that. And if you want more 2004Scape content and eventually back to old school RuneScape content, feel free to subscribe. Gmo out.